后分，中央人民政府今天胜利了。
但是你们难道
刚才也问我啊，我可以回半点去，无可奉告。我也不高兴。
哎，什么叫中国共产党？党叫干啥就干啥。
黑夜即将到来，一定要做好准备。
干死共产党！干死共产党！干死共产党！干死共产党！不干死共产党，绝不罢休！
消灭中共是正义的需要。
QOM south of Tehran, marked by this blue dot right here on the map. What the Israelis are telling us over the past 12 hours or so, they've hit 60 different strikes going after missiles and other parts of the Iranian terror regime throughout the country. So let's keep a very close eye on this. Meanwhile, in the Persian Gulf, you got the Iranian Navy, of which they had 11 ships, and this is one of them. All 11 have been disassembled in the Persian Gulf, and they are out of service. And
They have no Navy, it's been knocked out. They have no Air Force, it's been knocked out. They have no air detection, that's been knocked out. Their radar has been knocked out. And just about everything's been knocked out. They're going to be in for a lot of hurt. These are bad people. These are people that killed, I guess it's 35,000. It's coming out, 35,000 over the last 3 weeks. Protesters, 35,000 violently killed. So these are bad people. And the leader of the pack is gone. And as you know, 49 people were taken out in the first hit. And I guess there was another hit today on the new leadership. And it looks like that was pretty substantial also.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Exposing the CCP. We have some really exciting news over the past few days, and we'd like to share about the thoughts from NFSC and to help us to communicate about the future of the no dictators world. So glad to see Chris and Mr. True again. So good to see you too. Hi, Chris.
Hi, everyone. I'm happy to be on the show again today. And it was a great success last weekend. Thank you.
Absolutely a great success. The mighty U.S. military really taking down the terroring dictatorship. I think this is a great win for the people of the world who love to be free, love have freedom, and freedom of choice, freedom of religion, freedom of sort of spending the money and the voices. So especially, I think, have significance, great significance to our Chinese people. So let's take down the CCP on the way. Thank you. Back to you, Zee.
All right, sounds great for the opening remarks, and we're gonna see a video. You probably already see our topics today. Iran, it's almost everywhere. It's breaking news almost every single minute or hours, and there are always update. There is a concern about the market. There is a hope for a no dictator in Iran and maybe for the rest of the world. But let's check out one thing: is Miles Guo has shared back in 2020, maybe even earlier, about the future geopolitical structure, and the Iranian definitely will be revolution. And let's see what he talks about it, and we'll be right back, share with our thoughts.
From the situations between the CCP, the mouse, and the US, the cat, Xi Jinping and Wang Shishan are using the silent power within the US to deal with President Trump. It not only incites internal conflict within the US, but it also exerts pressure across the country. The combined use of the BGY plan and the 3F plan creates challenges for the US, both internally and externally. Can this strategy succeed? Everyone has seen that the Soleimani incident in Iran is definitely not accidental. It not only diverts the impeachment of the US president, but more importantly, it involves Israel, Syria, Yemen, and Hezbollah in Lebanon. More importantly, a series of interest groups such as Iraq, Saudi Arabia, and the UAE are ultimately involved in the CCP's oil supply and energy strategy. At the same time, Japan and all countries around the Strait of Malacca. Keep in mind that import 80% of the Middle East's oil via the Strait of Malacca. After it passes the Strait of Hormuz, where does it go? It doesn't supply Africa. It can only be sold in Asia and Europe, and it must pass through the Strait of Malacca. The Strait of Malacca and the Belt and Road Initiative are the CCP's roads to life and death. They turned this life and death road into a robbery route. The final outcome will inevitably lead to hatred among all the countries involved in the Belt and Road Initiative. This is the fundamental reality that we have to face now.
And you probably know that the CCP is behind everything. The Iran is just a puppet. They're just the agent for the CCP to mess up with the world, to meddle with all the Middle East problems, the petroleum or gasoline crisis, etc. They're using Iran as intermediary to start to initiate the war against the U.S. and other democracy world. So it's good to see that President Trump took a really it's really surprising, but very happy that he's determined to remove the dictator regime in Iran, and that will significantly undermine the confidence of the CCP. And let's start with Chris again. What's your thought about this great news, and why would you think the Miles Guo can predict it? What's your takeaway from this video?
Okay, thank you. So the biggest event that happened in the world last weekend was the decapitation of the Khamenei and the entire high-level leadership of Iraq's dictatorial government. This is the upgraded version following the decapitation of Soleimani during President Trump's first term. In January, President Trump captured Venezuela's Maduro alive. In February, President Trump killed Mexican drug lord Cervantes. In March, President Trump decapitated the Iran's Khamenei. There is a major action every month. The target of every major action is related to the CCP. As early as in the live broadcast from January 14 to 18, 2020, Mr. Miles Guo used 穿反内衣, like wearing underwear backwards, to foreshadow the intelligence about President Trump's decapitations of Khamenei. In Chinese, Trump means wear, and it has the same pronunciation as Trump. In Chinese, 内衣 underwear has the same pronunciation as Khamenei. Mr. Miles Guo specially used 4 episodes of a live broadcast to emphasize the importance of this matter. In 2020, Mr. Miles Guo also predicted that the CCP could not find Khamenei originally. The CCP's CCTV claimed that Khamenei was going to deliver a public speech, but because of the success of President Trump's action, the CCP could not find Khamenei. He has been successfully decapitated. So the success of these actions swiftly and precisely execute the operation not only caused gaps in the CCP's oil supply, the CCP's investment in the Middle East failed and cannot be recovered. The CCP's strategy to challenge the US dollar and internationalization of the renminbi, RMB, has been severely set back, highlighted the uselessness of the CCP's military equipment at crucial moment. United the pro-US countries in the Middle East region. The Iranian people gained freedom. A large amount of Iranian government officials and army officers indicated surrender. The CCP's infiltration in the Middle East is being cut off. Takedown CCP is accelerating. And not just the Middle East and Iran. The CCP utilized the BGY and 3F plans to deeply infiltrate the United States. However, since President Trump's second term, more and more people infiltrated by the CCP have been arrested. Their actions have failed, and they are entangled in lawsuits. 3 obvious figures infiltrated by the CCP are Tim Walz, Naval Roy Sinham, and Gavin Newsom. These 3 are the executor of CCP's 3F plan in the United States. Their common points is a long-term exchange with the CCP group led by Naval Roy Sinham, such as the National Iranian American Council, Palestinian Youth Movement, the People's Forum, Code Pink, etc., have initiated anti-war protests in the United States. However, these protests have not received positive response. These groups all took money from the CCP to take to the streets. On the contrary, the real Iranians actively initiate parades to celebrate Khamenei's death. Iranians who pursue democracy, rule of law, and freedom took to the street to thank the United States and thank President Trump's action. Iranians women also took off their chadors and danced President Trump's signature dance of YMCA to celebrate. The friendship among Israel, the United States, and Iran is about to welcome the reborn of Persia. Thank you.
Can't hear you.
Oh, sorry, get some technical issues. Yeah, and thank you very much, Chris, for this background information. I think very encouraging. And let's go to Mr. True, and then we can have more around the discussion if time allows. Now, please take your time, Mr. True.
Thank you, Zee. Okay, so I think Chris already said most of it. So it's basically during the last 4 days we see a total regime change. Number one, the Iran, the religious dictatorship. Okay, it's tied up with the CCP. Of course, we can see. Okay, and the lines of what the Trump administration is doing is trying to take down them, use the mighty military forces. I mean, this is a real politics and war. So it has to be in the end Okay, you got to have the power of military precisions with top technology. There's nothing, there is not any bullshit on there when you come to that. What we see in the past, like the CCP, even in the Southeast, ocean, with threatened continuously to Taiwan as well as Japan and the Philippines. But now they all shut up. The CCP's military is shut up. The CCP's military has been dismantled by Xi Jinping. Basically, all the generals, the 5-star generals, the 3 1-star generals, and the commanders, they all just get charged on the so-called corruption for money mainly. Because who is the most corrupted? The government systems, the political systems, the parties. That's the CCP. Not only do that, but they also export that corruption through the form of BGY into the United States. So we can see all these chaos, fermented chaos in the United States, and the bipartisan fights and so on, and also weaponization of SEC and the DOJ, of course. So, have said all that, what we're really seeing that is also awakening of people who want to really see what's going on. We really want to enjoy who we are, all born equal under God, all right? So why should someone be the agent of God and tell us what to do, tell us what not to do, and then they make all the money, they enjoy everything, but we remain absolutely poverty. That's both in Iran and in China. I mean, I remember Mao scores that even the eggs is controlled by the Iranians, the dictatorship of Khamenei and the relatives. So you cannot go just start a chicken hen farm and produce eggs, but their family does that. They control the price, so keep the people poor, and so they can shut up, they can obey, and so on. This is all nonsense. I think of those so-called dictatorship and the kingship is gone. Okay, no question, it's gone. And we were going to see, once the CCP is gone, the whole world is going to be brightened up. This is, but the wars, of course, in between, you have to really, by the end of the day, you have to really take force, taking down the evil force. I think this is what we're seeing. We've been, maybe been propaganda and brainwashed many times. You got to be nice and blah, blah, blah. I think these are all really fake. We have to face reality, what's evil, what's good, okay? What's true, what's fake. If a country doesn't allow you to even access CNN and any Western media and YouTubes, where the leaders enjoy the freedom of sending all the kids to the United States to study and buying the most expensive properties in Manhattan, okay? While they continually to propaganda bad about the United States, where the wife, the mistress, and the legal and the illegitimate children are there, get educated, and then set up a fund by using people's hard-working foreign currency money like US dollars and start their own business and get listed and all that stories, okay? So what we're seeing is this is going to be game change. No. We can see all the list of corruptions, how much money Xi Jinping and the families has. They're all on the website of the United States government. I think it's in the War Department or in the Justice Department or the Intel Department. So it's now become a common knowledge, common sense that the people has been suppressed for so long, okay, by those extreme religious and also, those weird religious practices, and also this financial corruption and the old monetary system of the central bank continuously minting money, okay, and this is just where the inflation is, and the inflation in Iran has gone like 100 times, all right. So they have so oil rich, they should have made so much money. If every person, in terms of every GDP, they can share that wealth with the people, you know what happened? They're going to be one of the wealthiest people in the world. But that didn't happen, okay? So this is extremely poverty and and the distribution of wealth unjustified, and the political propaganda and the personal freedom is gone, freedom of speech is gone. And you could get burned if you are a lady in Iran, if you don't wear something on your head. I don't know the name, but anyway, it's like a cuff. And if you take that off, then this called the moral police will come to hack you and maybe send you to jail. So that kind of sense should never been there. I think we should have all the freedom to be as long as we don't harm others, okay? This is the basic principle. No one else should tell you what to do. Look at China. Why I'm saying this? Because I can look at the Communist Party for the last 77 years in China. When the CCP take over, what has happened? First of all, they come along, put the bullets in over 5 million landlords, okay? Because, how do I know? Because my grandfathers, 2 of them are landlords, and they get bullets, and then you have to pay for the bullets if you want to take the body away and bury them. This is how evil they are, okay? And then you have lost the land. What happened is those landlords are the most educated and the well-knowledge, they know how to organize the farming, so all the farmers can have a rice to eat. They can have reasonably, no hunger, reasonably living standard, and they feed the family as well. But since they take off the land, you know what happens? Everyone sort of rely on the Communist Party is gonna, make the life really gonna be like in heaven, but it didn't happen. Everyone get hungry. So many people, during the Great Leap area, they're like, 100 millions of people are died. In some region, they even swap the kids to eat. You know why? That's how the extremely hungry was before. So until now, we are the second largest country in the world, next to the United States. But 75% of our citizens in China living under less than $200 a month. That's absolute poverty, okay? But then why the CCP don't talk about? They only talk about, anyone who want to challenge our regime, we're going to use our mighty military force and take them down. I think I'm so happy to see they shut up for 4 days when they see who is the real boss, who really is the commander of represent the God and take the evil force down. I think this is what we should celebrate. We should all awaken to know CCP must gone. Well, we're happy to see the Iranian gone. We're happy for the Iranian people so they can start the life again. Back to you, Zee. Thank you.
Well, both of you very well said. I think this is a great start. It's a watershed event. I think it's also it's glad to see that, people think, oh yeah, even the CCP is behind the Iran regime, they can support them, they can provide weapons. It is so dangerous to operate military actions in this area. So we should avoid, direct confrontation with the CCP supported regime. But, it's very glad to see that. I don't know what happened, but the good news is the US government, President Trump and administration especially, reviewed all these pros and cons and risks, and they evaluated everything and made a decision. It's the right choice. I trust the judgment, and I think there are going to be some great outcomes soon, if not now. We know that, the regime is still have some struggles, their internal turbulence among struggles among all kind of political parties, whether it's an Islamic country or it's a Republican, Democratic, whatever choices. But, it will be much better than a CCP-controlled regime for sure. And more importantly is, I think like Chris and also Mr. True always said, Dictator Xi is probably very, very scared because he doesn't know what's going to happen next. He thought he's living in a very safe a bunk or some kind of protected facility, but that doesn't mean that he's really safe. He's probably gonna be so I don't think he can fall asleep in the next few days. And this is also a great exemplar for the Chinese regime. Maybe the rebellion forces, hopefully together with NFSC, New Federal State of China, we're going to overthrow the dictator Xi's regime, the CCPs, and build a democratic China in the next coming month also. So it will be a great news. And we're going to continue to watch and monitor the progress and share with you about what NFSC can provide, what you think. And we need that everyone will pray for the Iranian people, and also hopefully they can build a robust country very soon. Okay, now we still have a couple more minutes, and maybe Chris and Mr. Truth can share for a few more minutes, and we can wrap around. Again, we start with the Chris and then Mr. Truth to complete. All right. Take your time.
All right, thank you. So the CCP high-level officials, upon seeing the success of this U.S. action, have already begun discussing the possibility of the CCP's disintegration. And they are already scrambling to line up and surrender to the CIA secretly. And we remember that from Mr. Miles Guo's broadcast back in 2019, 2020, and Mr. Miles Guo already told us that the intelligence can even know what Xi Jinping ate in his hot pot. So we are very sure that Xi Jinping is very panicked right now. So one major successful actions per month, what kind of major event will happen next month? It's pretty exciting to see. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Chris. I think you're right. As the Middle East war going on, you can see that Iran have lost everything, the military powers and the intelligence, also the the technological system to sense and deter feedback to the bases, but they got no bases. You know what happened? They have dismantled them to a different guerrilla groups who know without any supply. Okay, so they go probably underground and like rats, but they're still doing something in the hormones. Okay, canal. They're trying to interfere with the ship. I think today, Mr. President Trump announced insurance company will come along to support to ensure that if they go through there will be any casualties, they will be covered. Plus, they're going to use the U.S. Company to do the finance of so to ensure the operation of the oil going out the Hormuz Canal and then going to wherever they should go. I think then there is a restriction in selling those stuff to the CCPs. According to source information, there's only 4 weeks the CCP can last without the further add oil into import. I think we can see that will make the whole dictatorship, the whole country shut down, because there's no transportation, which means no car can drive, and all that. So we're going to wait and see. I think the time maybe is numbered to 4 weeks. I mean, not if that happens, this will happen, it has to happen, okay, the way it goes. I think then we can celebrate, come back. Thank you for watching us. Thank you, Zee. Back to you.
Perfect. We're going to continue to monitor the stress. Again, it's our heart is with the Iranian people, the peaceful people. We definitely hate we definitely hate the dictators and all these authoritarian regimes in the Middle East. And hopefully they'll be safe, and the military operations can cause minimum death and a loss to the people and properties, and everything will come down, and CCP will be taken down very soon. Take down CCP. I see you next week.
Take down the CCP.
See you. Take down CCP. Thank you.
You're about to see, we're going to unleash Cheng on these people in the next few hours and days. You're going to really begin to perceive a change in the scope and in the intensity of these attacks as, frankly, the two most powerful air forces in the world take apart this terroristic regime and defang it and take away its ability to threaten its neighbors or hide behind a zone of immunity that allows them to develop their nuclear ambitions. This terroristic, radical, cleric-led regime cannot be ever allowed to have nuclear weapons. We saw what they were willing to do to their own people. They were willing to slaughter their own people in the streets. Imagine what they would do to us. Imagine what they would do to others.
night has come this far, not because it chose to leave, but because it was never meant to stand. Darkness may appear powerful, yet it exists only where light has not arrived. And when the first ray of dawn emerges, its retreat becomes inevitable. This is not coincidence, not fortune, but direction itself, finally revealed. Justice never disappears. It moves forward step by step, gathering strength in silence, finding its footing in the final seconds before dawn. Today, what we welcome is not a miracle, but a morning that was always destined to arrive. In the new year, the dawn is already ahead of us.